What's up, Sass Squad? I wanted to try a different format to experiment with which style I kind of like about making these videos for Pokemon Champions. So I'm doing more of a voiceover, post-commentary type video today. And I'm actually focusing the team around Alcremie and Aggron. I was trying to build a team that had... Well, I wanted to use Aggron because of the rise of Mega Floette, and I just figured being a mono steel, typically Aggron wasn't good when its first inception in X and Y, but I feel like with the way the meta currently is, it actually does have some play here. So in this first match, I'm actually going to be facing Hydreigon and Rotom-Wash lead, and I decided to go for a Calm Mind on Alcremie. So my Alcremie set is pretty much Calm Mind, Iron Defense, and I'm pretty much, or not Iron Defense, Acid Armor. And I'm trying to run Store Power plus Dazzling Gleam. So purely just setup, and honestly Alcremie has a really nice special defense stat. That was kind of what drew me to it, because I knew I wanted to build a team around Aggron, and I wanted to balance out my team with something that had good special defense as well. And I was looking at Alcremie, I'm like, well, it's not Mega Floette, but it honestly could potentially have some play, being able to set up and go for stored powers at some points and occasional Dazzling Gleams. But as you see, the Gotcha Matcha comes out, and it looks like they're trying to get a burn potentially on Alcremie, because I do have leftovers. But I'm going to keep setting up Calm Mind, and it's looking really good because as of right now, there's nothing really on the field that I'm particularly afraid of, so I'm just setting up in their face. I go for a Flare Blitz into Sinistcha just to get it down there, and I do end up getting a burn, which is really nice. But not necessary, but it's nice. They are actually Citrus Berry, so the leftovers is on the Rotom, as you can see. So I'm not particularly too concerned because I saw Hydreigon in the lead, and 99.9% of the time Hydreigon is a special attacker. Plus it's Dark Dragon, which doesn't really threaten Alcremie in any way. So right now, I'm going to switch out and preserve my Incineroar to maybe get another Fake Out off later in the match. I'm going to bring in my own Sinistcha just to heal up my Alcremie and absorb an attack here. Hydro Pump comes into Sinistcha, and I'm able to tank it, and I think another Gotcha Matcha, or no, Strength Sap comes off because they want to heal up a bit, which is pretty smart. So they're going to get healed up. I think I go for Dazzling Gleam here, trying to get rid of Sinistcha, but it will live because of the Strength Sap. But now that puts Rotom in range now that I'm pretty sure another Dazzling Gleam should be enough to take them both out. But I think, yeah, I just go for another Dazzling Gleam, knowing that I'll just remove them both from the field. And I'm also going to go for a Trick Room. Or no, I decided to go for Matcha Gotcha because I figured I don't really even need Trick Room in this fight, because there's nothing that's really going to be able to one-shot Alcremie based on what I've seen so far. So they miss Alcremie with the Matcha Gotcha, which is nice. That doesn't give a burn. Which the burn only matters just to negate my leftovers recovery. And pretty much my Matcha Gotcha goes off, get a little bit of chip on Sinistcha, which isn't going to matter ultimately once that Dazzling Gleam goes through. But yeah, so far this is looking really good. I'm not particularly worried about this Rotom that's protecting in front of me. And like I said, Hydreigon's not going to be a threat whatsoever. There's not going to be really... I mean, it can run Flash Cannon. They do actually run Flash Cannon. But with my special defense boost from Calm Mind, I'm not afraid of it. I'm pretty confident that I should be able to tank it with it not being a stab move and that. So now I'm going to just go for Rage Powder here, because they are more than likely going to use... Just in case they did have the Steel move, I'm going to try to redirect it here into Sinistcha. They do reveal they have Flash Cannon, and it does just come into Sinistcha. I'm taking it relatively good here. And the Hydro Pump from Rotom will be enough to take me out, but that's quite fine because that redirect is really all I needed to secure to connect with this Dazzling Gleam. And the Dazzling Gleam is going to decimate the entire opponent's side of the field. So that's already going to be solid. They only have one Pokemon left, and I can't imagine that that last Pokemon is going to be too problematic. But as of right now, I'm just going to bring in Incineroar because I could go for a Fake Out. And if it is by chance a physical attacker, I can get an Intimidate off. And it is Kangaskhan, so getting this Intimidate off could be nice. But it is actually Inner Focus, of course. So Intimidate and Fake Out are not going to actually work here. So I was not like particularly afraid of this. I'm going to go for an Acid Armor just to be careful. But I have Aggron still, and Aggron's defense stat is so high that even if I came in on a fighting type, I'm not particularly too afraid. So yeah, this is going to be pretty much a GG. They're going to Fake Out into my side of the field, and I switched Incineroar. I mean, excuse me, they Fake Out into my Incineroar. Maybe they don't want me to get a parting shot off, and they remove Incineroar. I'm able to get my defense with Acid Armor, and from here I'm going to bring in Miss Piggy, the Aggron, and yeah, there's pretty much nothing they're going to be able to do. I'm going to just go for the Mega and go for Body Press, and I think I go for Stored Power into Kang, and yeah, that should pretty much be game at the end of this turn. Also, if you're watching this video on YouTube, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing if you want to consume more VGC content. I tend to lean a lot of times more towards building teams around your favorite Pokemon and Spice, but there'll be a variation of all of that here on the channel as I play through Pokemon Champions. I'm going to try to be more consistent about getting stuff uploaded here. I do run a couple other Pokemon channels, and this channel I started during the Scarlet Violet VGC circuit when I was going to some regionals and playing more seriously and actively. But I will admit that as the game life has gone on, I kind of, not out of any particular reason, maybe just being busy, I just haven't really been keeping up with the VGC and Scarlet and Violet. So it's nice to kind of get back into the groove of things here with Pokemon Champions. So this next battle, excuse me, this is a weather team that looks very scary actually on paper against what I'm bringing. Aggron's not really going to appreciate any sort of fire moves from the special side, especially in the sun. So I have to be very careful about how I navigate this battle. I want to try to have Pelipper to get rid of the rain. That's primarily the reason. And they relieved Farigiraf plus Torkoal. So because I know that I can't use Fake Out here because of Armor Tail, I'm going to Parting Shot into Torkoal and go for a Calm Mind. And I figured I could at least like negate the eruption that I figured might be coming from Torkoal. And then I can also switch in my Pelipper to remove the rain to completely nerf this potential eruption or fire move. So I go for Parting Shot into Torkoal. They actually are helping hand on Torkoal, which kind of confirms they're trying to get some big damage off at the lead here. And in comes my Pelipper with the rain, and they end up using Earth Power, so I actually kind of just made a great play. I didn't even think they would use Earth Power here, but it makes sense. They wanted to just remove Incineroar entirely, so I got kind of lucky with that. I wouldn't say that was a prediction as much as just luck. And now they're going to bring in Incineroar, which, you know, they make a great play, because I think I go for the Stored Power here. Like, this opponent was really just making amazing plays and predictions. Oh no, I go for Calm Mind, okay. Yeah, so I just go for Calm Mind here, that makes sense. I'm just trying to set up in their face because I'm not particularly afraid of Farigiraf. And even the Incineroar that came in, the most it's really going to be able to do is go for Fake Outs and Parting Shots because of the rain being active, so they came and Flare Blitz me, and no Dark Move is going to be worth using here. So I'm thinking about going for the Acid Armor, and I do end up just thinking, okay, you know what, I should just go for Calm Mind. I'm not actually afraid of this Incineroar whatsoever, and I'm going to switch out because I figured they're going to try to get rid of the rain, and I want to preserve Pelipper. I don't want it to just go down this early in the match. So I bring in my Incineroar, go for the Intimidate, because I figured, you know, I could Calm Mind on Alcremie and just reduce Incineroar's attack with Intimidate. And yeah, they end up going for Psychic into that slot and ends up being negated because of my Dark typing on Incineroar. The flinch does prevent me from using Calm Mind, but it's whatever. I'm just gonna keep trying to set up a bit. And the thing is, this Alcremie, even though it's not the hugest threat to my opponent, just, you know, at face value, the fact that it's sitting on the field here and just getting these Calm Minds off is actually going to be fairly significant. And I decided to go for a Parting Shot into the Farigiraf just to punish them for keeping it out on the field. And I'm going to bring in Basculegion here. I figured this might be a decent, like, pivot at least. They go for Parting Shot into Alcremie. Doesn't really matter that much. I would say I'm not particularly using Calm Mind to boost my special attack, even though it is great and, you know, it's going to help out tremendously. I'm more concerned about getting that special defense up, so I don't have to worry about taking these special attacks, or I can, you know, take them a lot easier. So in comes the Charizard, and it's pretty evident that they're going to just Mega. I wasn't sure exactly what to do. I decided to target and go for Stored Power, thinking they're going to Solar Beam maybe into Basculegion slot. And yeah, I think they end up Megaing and protecting with their Charizard, if I remember correctly. And it pretty much wastes my turn here, because they get that up. Yeah, they go for Protect. They're going to be able to block the Stored Power. And then from here, I think I protected on Basculegion as well, just because I didn't want to get smacked in the face, because there was no way I could prevent the sun from coming up. I mean, if I switched in Pelipper, it wouldn't have changed anything. They still would have got the sun up. So I had to pretty much wait a turn before I could even try to consider removing the weather here. And yeah, great play on their end to protect, but I decided to, I think I target Charizard again, but they make an amazing play, if I remember correctly, and they switch in Incineroar. It's pretty insane how well they played through this match. Yeah, I was feeling pretty sad about that, I will admit. But yeah, I switch in Pelipper, which, you know, now that I'm looking, I'm like, maybe this wasn't the correct play. But yeah, the Stored Power is not affecting Incineroar at all, and a Foul Play comes into Pelipper, which fortunately for me isn't going to really be enough to do the damage it needs to do. At this point, I'm getting kind of annoyed, so I'm like, I'm just going to go for Dazzling Gleam. At least I can get some chip damage. And I'm thinking, I need to save my Pelipper still, so I'm going to switch back in Incineroar just to pivot again and get an Intimidate off on their Incineroar. And more than likely, they're going to, I think they fake out into my Alcremie, and then they'll Parting Shot. It's kind of like a thing that they've just been doing here. Fake out Alcremie to prevent me from continuing the setup here. They get a crit. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to just keep on keeping on here. I'm going to go for... Now I'm going to actually... I think I decide to just go for Stored Power into Torkoal, knowing that at least they could protect with Torkoal, but at least in this way I'll get some sort of like damage off. And I'll get the rain back up just because... And they do protect with Torkoal. It's kind of a thing here. It seems like... They're making such great predictions and stalling me out. I'm starting to feel like, dang, I need to make the right calls. I mean, it's not even like they're playing... I don't know, they're just making great plays. It's like not even like they're over-predicting or under-predicting. They're just making really good decisions. They bring in Charizard again. And at this point, I'm like, crap, this is not good. Like, this person has kind of like outplayed me in a lot of ways in these switches. And it feels like now something's going to have to go down. I'm not going to really have much say in the matter. So I end up, I think I sack Basculegion here, thinking like, as much as I'd love... Oh no, I bring in... excuse me. I decided to bring in Incineroar here, because it's kind of like a pivot, but it's so funny because clearly they're going to predict this. Based on the way this person's playing, they're going to throw Earth Power into Incineroar, which I know won't knock me out, but it's just these plays are making her so good, and they're slowly chipping away at me throughout the battle while they're maintaining the high ground here. And yeah, amazing play, of course, right? So at this point, I'm like, gosh, this is so annoying. I guess I just have to go for a Calm Mind, because I was thinking, you know, even as much as they're like outplaying me on these switches, they're really not able to do much to Alcremie right now. And if I could just keep setting up with it, then maybe that's the play. Like if I can somehow nerf their Sun and keep Alcremie beefed up, I feel like there's a win con here. Even though I'm gonna have to just like powerhouse through all these like resisted attacks, like, you know, all these fire types getting hit with a fairy, for example, or I guess stored power ultimately will be a good option. But yeah, from here I'm gonna continue on, and they end up just quitting because I think at this point they just realized I couldn't really handle the Alcremie setting up, and if I had the rain it would have been problematic for them. So GG's. I was a little caught off guard by them quitting, but I also kind of understand where they're coming from. They probably just didn't have a physical attacker that could do enough damage to Alcremie, unfortunately. And even if they did, I still had the acid armor potential. So yeah, crazy battle there. Alcremie getting a rage quit, which very satisfactory. That's kind of what I named this video after, is Alcremie. I felt like it was the MVP while playing through this. But yeah, in this next battle, I'm not like particularly afraid. There's a lot of physical attackers, but I also figured Aggron isn't going to be too afraid of that situation. Just like I said earlier, its defense stat is so high, and I'm running Iron Defense. So I'm just gonna go for Heavy Slam immediately here in Alcremie to lead. I figured if they don't shield it and it's not Focus Sash, this is definitely gonna one-shot it. And then I was gonna fake out Aerodactyl. So I'm gonna Mega Aggron, and from here it's just a matter of seeing what they have in the back line, because the Aerodactyl I wasn't entirely sure if it would be a Mega or not, but I am gonna fake it out, so it's gonna get flinched here. And I mean, honestly, I'm not even like really afraid of the Aerodactyl. I mean, it could run Earthquake, but even if it has Earthquake, it's not Stab, and being Aggron, it's still going to be able to tank it. So I remove Alcremie, which, you know, I gotta give him respect for running the Alcremie, because we're the same brother or sister. In comes Lopunny, and again, like another fighter, physical attacker. I decided to protect just to get an idea of what they may consider doing here. And I'm gonna actually just go for Parting Shot into Aerodactyl. I'm gonna ignore this Lopunny for the time being, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like particularly afraid of it, but I don't want to underestimate it either. So I'm gonna protect with Aggron, and then they're gonna Rock Slide with Aerodactyl. Well, they will fake out also with Lopunny, excuse me, which isn't gonna matter that much. I mean, they try to fake out Aggron here. Rock Slide is set off. As long as I don't get flinched with my Incineroar here, I should be able to Parting Shot out. Which is great, because I'm essentially just nerfing this Aerodactyl, and leaving it on the field is just going to end up being a problem for my opponent. So I'm going to switch in Sinistcha, just to kind of pivot pretty much. And it also has some pretty great walling capacity here against the Lopunny and the Aerodactyl. I mean, Aerodactyl could be running a flying move, and Lopunny can have some sort of coverage to hit me. As you can see, it does have triple Axle, but they actually targeted Aggron with that, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, so pretty much I go for the Iron Defense, and now that I got Iron Defense off, I'm absolutely not afraid of what my opponent might be thinking of here in the back. So I'm gonna actually go for the Trick Room here. I figured this is actually a great match for me to get Trick Room, to go for an Aggron sweep. And yeah, I like having Trick Room on the Sinistcha. I feel like I haven't really clicked it a lot while playing, but it is a nice leverage for facing Tailwind teams or having some sort of speed control if I really need it. I was trying to build the team to have a lot of natural bulk and redirection. That way it doesn't really matter if I go first or second. It's more about survivability and tanking moves. But yeah, they end up just quitting the match here because I guess they just realized they're not going to be able to do anything to make Aggron. So, and like I said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into the video. And with that being said, the Sass Squad is getting stronger. Each and every day, you have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you're tuning in. And I'll catch you in the next one.